disclosure. Sober disclosure. Breezy's a slut.
And we like it in the butt.
Are you or someone you know looking for support in recovery? Taste Recovery is your go-to directory for sober resources. Whether you're searching for treatment centers or sober living communities, Taste Recovery connects you with the right tools and support to help you on your journey. With a user-friendly platform and a comprehensive list of resources, Taste Recovery makes finding the help you need easier than ever. Start building your path to a healthier, sober life today. Visit tasterecovery.com to find the resources that work for you. Taste Recovery, your first step to a lasting positive change. Hi everyone, I'm Breezy.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we are
Sober
Disclosure.
Today we're sitting here with Pat from the deep trenches of Castro. We found him walking the streets of Castro with his Padres hat, and we asked him to come be our guest.
Oh my god, it's not the Padres.
Oh my god.
What is it?
It's the Giants.
Oh
Same
my
thing.
gosh.
I'm gay. I don't. What's the
I'm gay.
okay with the Padres?
So
I thought it was SP.
What would be considered
Oh,
the,
SF.
what would be considered deep Castro?
Deep Castro would be that little street where people are human urinals.
What?
Which is what
So
street?
there's Castro. Isn't there a Castro Street?
Yeah.
And then there's an alleyway behind that gay bar that goes all the way down.
There are a lot of gay bars in Castro.
So then all of the gay
He said
alleyways.
the one.
That one.
That's where we found him.
Right. Dumpster diving.
Are you from San Francisco?
Born in I was born at Mission Hospital.
That's in San Francisco?
There's so many mission
Oh,
hospitals.
here in Laguna Beach.
Here in Mission Viejo.
Oh, Mission Viejo.
Yeah, off Crown Valley, right by the.
Oh wait, wasn't that where Honey went to get sober?
Yes,
Mission Hospital.
that's where she
Mission
went.
Hospital, but was that? I think that was the one in Laguna Beach.
Oh.
So it used to be called
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Coast Hospital, and then Mission Hospital bought it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the pieces are coming together.
Yeah. So why San Francisco?
Why San Francisco? My uncle lived in Berkeley, and so that's how the.
What is this?
That's
So
how
that means maybe gay uncle?
Your
No,
your
no,
gunkle?
no.
Yeah, your gunkle.
Is that how you call a gay uncle?
A
Gunkle?
gunkle. Yeah.
Oh my god, old gunkling. So that's how that San Francisco Giants would happen, and then the Niners, just because the '80s were banging as a football Niner fan. When I was a kid, so I picked that all on my own.
So black and orange is the old colors.
No,
It's
No.
the new colors.
It's the new colors.
the always colors.
Oh.
You're thinking the Mets were the Dodgers and the Giants colors.
Oh.
Well, you also said Padres. Padres are black and yellow.
Is it
This is
brown?
a baseball podcast.
It's brown and
Brown,
yellow.
brown and yellow.
Brown
This
and
is a
yellow.
baseball podcast.
Oh.
Just kidding.
We wish.
Yeah,
Pat
that'd
and
be
I
great.
wish.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. We still have to go see a baseball game together.
Yes.
That'd be so fun. Okay, so back to sobriety. Sorry.
Slow-briety.
Slowbriety.
Sobriety.
It is really is slow.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I get sober, and it just seems like in order to recover or get to some sort of neutral space or a place of neutrality, it's a real slow process. So it's slow, many, many years until you feel like you're okay, maybe I'm partway sane a little bit.
Yeah.
Took a long time to de-thaw out.
Literally so long. I
Yeah.
feel that in my bones. So how much time do you have?
I don't know, 45 minutes till the next podcast comes in, right? Right. Oh, time sobriety time?
That was good.
That was good.
That was a good dad joke.
October 23rd, 2002 is my sobriety date, and that's 22 years sober.
Nice.
That's fucking crazy.
I think the same thing. I'm pretty blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many sponsees do you have?
I don't count, really. I got 3 guys in between.
Whoever calls.
One, oh, that's a good one. I don't like to have too many guys between 1 and 5.
Okay.
1 year and 5 years?
Yeah, no, step 1 and step
Oh, okay.
5.
Okay.
Because they need a lot of attention.
Totally.
You know, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I have a career, I have a kid,
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and their feelings get hurt when you can't call them, you know. You don't love me.
Do you always
That's
pick
true.
up the phone?
No,
Do you always call them back?
I always call back. So the way I operate with my phone is it's not on me.
That's how you operate.
Because I want to, like, for me, like, if I'm somewhere, I don't answer my phone so that
Yeah.
I can be present with the people I'm in.
Totally.
And I tell everyone to leave me a message, and then I'll call you back from my missed messages.
Yeah.
Because if it's a missed call, it could be like a pocket dial, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how I work.
So leave them a voicemail.
And it allows, like, I'm not their God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
go find your own God.
yeah, don't be dependent on your sponsor because I'll fail you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to call you back in time. I'm not going to show up when you think I should.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times in my sobriety, there was a period of time for a long time from the beginning till, I don't know, 8 years where I had like 25 sponsees. I was like, made sure they sat in the same row every meeting. I managed their lives.
Was that like an ego thing? Like, these are
Big
all
time.
mine.
Big time ego.
Yeah.
It was all ego, but I
Totally.
didn't know it was ego. Like, I thought I was just doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Go to a meeting, help somebody, always say yes, never say no.
Which
and
that's not in the big book.
yeah, I don't.
It's definitely not.
It's not, huh?
No.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that either. But the things we hear in meetings,
Yeah.
right? You hear like all kinds of stuff. Like, I'll tell you. So like, we don't take anything that affects us from the neck up. Like, there was a period of time when a lot of people would talk about, like, we don't take medication, right? And so it wasn't my experience, but I looked up to those people. So I was like, yeah, we don't take medication.
Yeah.
And there was this kid, I won't say his name, but he was truly bipolar. And we, as a group of young people in sobriety, were like, we don't take medicine. The 12 steps will help you with you, you know?
Yeah.
We're not doctors, but that's what we're told and that's what we hear. So we go out and parrot that.
Yep.
And this kid ended up not taking his medicine. We were at a young people's Akipa in Ventura, and he was, you know, having an episode. And Saturday night speaker meeting, he put a suit on. He had his big book, and he walked up to the stage because he was the speaker. And we were like, bro, you're not the speaker. Come on. Like, you know, we're trying to wrangle him in, and we ended up taking him to the hospital. They let him out of the hospital. He walked 6 miles back to the convention with his big book, going to be the speaker.
Oh my God.
And then however much longer, month or however longer, he was walking down PCH in Laguna with a cross on his back, you know, and they took his rights away and put him in the hospital and never saw him again.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, I had no business
Telling
somebody that.
Yeah.
You know, and when we're new, we pick up on things like anything you say. I'm like, oh my God, you must be.
That's true.
You must know. You know what I mean? You must know. Like, you have more time than me, so I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah.
You know, they say follow the monkey around or get in the middle, or, you know. And so there's always like a guy in the meeting that's, I don't know what do you call him, like, you know, like the one everyone looks up to.
Hierarchy. Yeah.
Even though there's no hierarchy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Just naturally.
Yeah. Right? Human pack animals that we're going to follow. You know, so I learned, we don't say that. You know, take your meds, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, what we were discussing before we started was with the sponsorship on, like, what to say, but really we're just telling people not to drink and use. And that's our job, to take someone through the steps, not to
Dictate
put
your life.
rules and things on people, you know?
Right.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, like, I mean, we're here to share our experience, strength, and hope, and take someone through the steps. Right, that's it. And, like, you know, I go to the 2 meetings I go to, guys I sponsor, ask them to be there at those meetings so that I can have face-to-face time with them.
At both meetings or just one
Both,
of the 2?
both, you know.
And if they don't go, what do you do?
What if they don't
Nothing.
go? They don't go, right? But this is about a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's about getting to know one another. It's about, you know, in the 12 and 12, it says something in the 4th step that our real problem is our inability to form a true bond with another human being. And when I got sober, I couldn't form a relationship. Like, I didn't know how to even have a friendship. Like, sure, oh yeah, well, we're best friends, you know, and then all of us were friends, and then in like 2 months,
someone relapses.
Someone
they're
relapses,
gone.
or I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
Before you get sober.
no, even when in sobriety,
sobriety.
right? It's like in the beginning, even a long time into sobriety was like, catch a resentment, or I don't even know, I build a case on you. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm like, and then tomorrow it's bigger. And then in a month, pretty soon I've separated myself completely from you. And we're not any friends anymore, even though a month before we're best friends.
Yeah.
So
Because best friend didn't mean anything.
right. What does that really mean? We throw that around a lot.
Yeah.
We throw around a lot. And so I learned through my sponsor how to have a relationship, right? Unconditional, non-transactional.
Yeah.
Unconditional love that's scary. That's scary. And so, so I learned how to have relationships from my sponsor. So if they don't come, I got a guy right now. He was supposed to call me Friday. We're supposed to do whatever. That's on him. That's his sobriety. And that have a reflection upon me, and he called me today like, can we meet tomorrow? Yeah. So I'll call him back when I leave and actually, no, we can't meet tomorrow. Why don't we, have some sort of relationship and talk here and there, to get like on the same page. Because then it's me chasing them.
Yeah.
That's not healthy for anyone.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like so ingrained in so many alcoholics is like the dynamic between our parents as a child, and we see that someone's chasing someone that's part of so much trauma. And so we all of a sudden get a little taste of power, and I now am like, the power dynamic is shifting back and forth because you didn't call me and now I need you, and it's a scary fucking thing. There's a lot of sick people in AA.
And we're not equipped.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You know what I mean? I'm not equipped. You know what I mean?
I don't have a degree. I did not go to fucking get my psychology degree. Yeah.
Don't listen to this to stay sober.
I didn't even graduate high school. You know what I mean? I didn't even graduate high school and all
I
that.
didn't either.
Now we're talking about like some serious things that you should probably talk to your therapist about. Like
totally.
We tell people all the time, tell your deepest, darkest secrets in your fifth step.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped to do the things that I've heard. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God. And now I got to bear that. Yeah. And it has an effect on every ethical and moral thing I got going on inside. And I have to love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
I don't, that's gnarly. That's some pretty heavy stuff we carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the fuck does it work?
How does what work?
The program. How does all that work?
I mean, I think honesty. I think the principle of honesty has so much value and weight. My whole life has been, even at 8 years of sobriety, I was going to kill myself, right? And I was holding a lot of secrets, and when I finally was honest, like gut level honest to another human being, like that's where the freedom came. And a lot of the stuff in the beginning we talked about, right, is like, don't get in a relationship. So I won't get in a relationship, but I'll have sex with her. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And now I'm lying to her in order to get the sex. We're in a relation. Now there's just all kinds of mixed up stuff there.
Yeah.
And I'm still carrying all that stuff into recovery. I'm just accumulating more.
More shame.
Right, more shame. Yeah. Cycle of shame. In order to get out of shame, what do?
Use.
Lie.
Or have more sex.
Lie.
Manipulate. Yeah.
When all you could just said, hey, let's fuck. Are you okay with that? And she says, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm selfish.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah.
Well, and women, you have to kind of try a little more, like take her to dinner and,
Not all the time.
Not all the time?
No.
Okay.
Should we say, okay?
Okay. They have to like open up naturally, Just kidding.
I mean, naturally is better than forcefully. That's not healthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, how do we deal with it? Honesty. Really, you gotta be honest. And like, how can I create a safe place for a guy that I work with to be honest? And I think that is like sharing my truth about who I've been in my past. But I also, like, just because I did that then doesn't mean I won't do it today. Right? I'm capable of being that selfish and self-centered person like that. And so I'm still that character, though I don't live that way today. Yeah. It's still ingrained in me. Yeah. So creating a safe space for them to be like, he understands. He's not going to judge. He has compassion, or she, right? Whatever for me, it's but and so and then they feel like it's okay to tell you the truth. We know inside the hurt.
Yeah.
Right? We know. You don't have to tell me, right? I know the hurt. I even know what I should and shouldn't do. And so if we can create that space for them to be open and honest and ask them, like, what do you think you should have done differently? They'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then now it's them telling you, not someone else pointing the finger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. So you don't give any rules to your sponsees other than
Your
just meet me
experience.
at my 2 meetings.
So I say, I'd like you to call me every day. I go to 2 meetings a week. I'd like you to be at those meetings. Wednesday we get there at 5:30 and have dinner and go to the meeting. And then that's it. And read the first 164 pages. As soon as you're done, we'll start reading together, and then we meet once a week.
You have them read it themselves first.
I do. Right? They got to have some skin in the game.
Yeah. Wait, so they read it, then you guys start reading it, then you start reading the steps?
So I have them read the first 164 pages. When they're done, then we meet. And then when we meet, we read the book together. And as we read, we're going through the steps.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that. I like that.
I do
I
like
think
that.
that's good.
I listen a lot to the Joe and Charlie tapes, and they're like, you fucking get in there and do it right away.
Yeah, and that's how I went through the steps.
Yeah.
Like when I first got sober at Charlie Street, it was like, do it or die. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I don't want to die. Okay, do it. and I was making amends 4 days sober.
Oh my God.
That was my first amends. I came to believe. No. I made a decision. Sure. I said a prayer with the guy.
Yeah.
And I stayed sober. It got like it got through the steps, and it was like help others. And I was like sponsoring everybody, just like, I mean, I was on fire. I loved it, but I wasn't honest, and I didn't believe in God. So there's a lot
But
of.
you still stayed sober.
I still stayed sober, but I also cheated on every girlfriend I was with.
Yeah.
I was fucking whore. I've been running around like
miserable, wanting to die at 8
miserable.
years.
And what do they say? Get out of self, help others.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, just fucking run around, help everybody, be a dirtbag, help this guy, be a dirtbag, help this guy. I always say that the sickest guy in the room has the most sponsees in the room.
I only have one.
I have 4.
I just lied. I have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait. I know both of your
I
stories.
know. I was just joking.
No,
That's funny.
I
That's
totally,
funny. Yeah.
I love this conversation because my therapist and I love to talk shit on AA
Yeah.
because there's just so many sick people making up their own fucking rules and doing so much more harm than good, and it's scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a sick bunch.
Yeah.
And
It's the sick leading the sick. It's the blind leading the blind. It's like, well.
and especially when we're new.
Yeah.
When we're new, like pick someone that has what you want. Like, they hear that, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is I want.
And I don't even know any of you
Yeah.
motherfuckers, and all I'm seeing is what you're showing me right here in the meeting, but what are you really doing on the outside?
Right.
Because we're really good at hiding that too, and there's a lot of people that show up to the meeting and they can have the best share in the room, and then they go out and they're cheating on their girlfriends, and
Right.
you know what I mean? So you just never know.
Right.
You never know.
Right. And to be honest with how can you be gut level honest with another human being when you're brand new?
Yeah.
Really? I don't even like you. Let alone do I trust you? Do I,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to trust another human being.
Yeah. So true. So going back to that first year, do you only have one sobriety date?
Well, yeah, I think we all only have one sobriety date, don't we?
Well, then.
The very first time?
You mean the
Motherfucker.
first time I ever went through the steps? First time I ever worked the steps, I stayed sober.
Okay.
That's
A good answer.
okay. I did that too, but when he said that, I've never heard someone say that.
Yeah.
Because
All the other times didn't actually count.
Well, I came to AA and I was like, and they're like, are there any newcomers? And I was like, I'm Pat and I'm an addict, which you can't say in AA.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mhm.
run you out,
Mhm.
And so I came to AA, got loaded. I never did anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't know what alcoholism was. And no
Even
one,
with your mom being who she is.
yeah, for sure. Because I felt like
Well, you were like this.
me and my mom.
No, I'm saying like because of
That was
her
like an
being.
ex.
I'm asking that she was so involved that you were kind of. I don't want to be involved. In the
No,
time.
like
She just didn't explain.
so like let's like my mom would have me meet me at a meeting,
Okay.
and someone would come up to me, and it was oh yeah, you're I love your mom.
She helped me save
Oh
my life.
my god! And
Yeah.
so to me, I'm like, you're only helping me because of my mom. Like you're not helping me genuinely for who I am.
Yeah.
You know,
God, that's gotta be hard.
it was tough being a kid from someone that's in, and then who my mom is. I mean,
Yeah.
just like, oh, and I always felt like I was in my mom's shadow my whole life
Yeah.
because of who my mom is. I mean, my mom would walk into a convention with 2,000 people and everyone would like part the seas, It's like this light,
Yeah.
and then I would feel like I was like in her shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd get in the car, it'd be like the coldest car ride home. Like my mom didn't know how to have an emotional relationship with me.
Wow.
Yeah, and
But just naturally who she is as a person.
well, I mean, my mom took the abuse of her alcoholic father.
Okay.
She wasn't incapable of loving me the way I deserved to
Yeah.
be loved. Really,
Even though she was in the program.
even though,
Mhm.
and I would be like, you have 40 years, like,
Yeah.
But when I'm 35 or whatever, like still blaming mom, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
You gotta take accountability at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, the first time you actually worked the 12 steps, you stayed sober.
Yes.
What did you have those, like we were talking about earlier, did you have people that were telling you, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you still decided to do them anyways?
So my sponsor, Jack, rest in peace, he just passed away a couple months ago, but he said to me, he said, if you're going to relapse over a relationship, you might as well find out in your first year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, why wait?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what
Yeah.
that did for me was it like let go of all the like
Power.
exactly. Like you tell me I can't do it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just in my nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so like he always told me just always say yes. So I was like go to the noon meeting and I would like people would need help moving and I was like, oh, I'll help. I didn't have a car or nothing, but I'll help. And I helped this woman move and she kissed me on the cheek and I was like I'm gonna go to AA and follow her everywhere she goes. Maybe I'll get some more, and it didn't happen, but kept going,
Mm-hmm.
So who cares what your motive is? If you're gonna go to a meeting to get laid, you're in the meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're hearing the message.
You might.
And if you have a sponsor that's like teaching you like the three sides of our triangle and getting you involved in the fellowship and getting you involved in service work while you're going through the steps, now you're accountable to a group and you have like a purpose to be there to like bring the coffee or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the middle.
Yeah.
And really, like, I think that's what we as alcoholic drug addicts need is to be a sense of community, right? Some sort
Like
of
love and tolerance.
like love. I think if
Yeah,
I love
love.
you, I'm not tolerating you.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm bringing love to the situation, there's no tolerance.
There is no tolerance. And why do people say that?
Yeah, because it's in the book.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
our
you
it's
know
our
what's
code. It's our code.
Oh, sorry.
What's going on?
No, my headphones were just like vibrating. I didn't know if everyone else was having the same experience as me. Cool. I was like, what's going
Yeah, I'm
on?
a seizure.
Oh my god.
Oh, so no,
I want to bring something up
Yes.
because I've been thinking about it the whole time we were talking, and I want to be honest, as opposed to not honest. When we talked about what you said about not telling people what to do, it clicked for me a little bit because as probably a lot of people, which worked for me in the time is I come from a sponsorship family that's like, don't date, don't do this, don't do that. And I say that to my sponsees because it's my experience for that. But I don't like it.
yeah.
I'm just doing what I was taught. And now that Pat is saying that, I don't think that's coming from a loving place.
Mm-mm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Breezy went to one of my meetings and it is like that. It's like kind of like, it's crazy.
It's not an AA meeting.
It's not an AA meeting.
It's his sponsorship family
Oh, I
meeting.
see.
Yeah.
And
And you got invited?
I don't know how I ended
That's
up
cool.
there. Yeah. Well, they kind of
Well,
open it up
it's
to
for
anybody,
everybody.
But,
Yeah.
but his sponsor has been like kind of 86 from a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I wanted like a straight spot, like a football coach in a sense, to kind of like, because I can like manipulate a lot of people. But like what you said before is, if you're gonna manipulate people, manipulate in the first year and see if you stay sober. You know,
Right.
like that. So I was trying to find something to stay sober, but really, that's not what you do. You just, if you're gonna do it. Go out and come back and do everything you do.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
not ready yet anyway.
I'm not ready yet anyway.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about this whole time, which I was getting a little emotional about, was what Pat was saying is, I tell the guys to do, not do what you want. I don't know how you said it, but you said if you're going to have sex, because then if you put restrictions on people, then that comes with lies. And that's when people can spiral out emotionally with the lies, right? Am I saying that right?
Right. Yeah, they're going to get in a relationship, right? They're going to be flirting at the meeting. You can see that they're flirting with the meeting. And I'll say, yeah, who is that? Oh, it's Shelly. Oh, you want to have sex? Oh, no, I don't want to. Come on. Really? Let's be real with each other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they're honest. And, oh, yeah, And then I share, like, my experience. Like, like, dating in the first year as I was new, like, this is what happened, like I obsessed over her. I didn't do the step, whatever that is, walked away from whatever it was. And this is what happened. She tried jumping out of my car at 70 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
And I felt responsible. So I would make sure she was okay. And then she would call me at 3 a.m. going to kill herself. And I'd leave the house to go drive up to wherever and then share my experience with them. Right. And I say, I mean, if that's what you want,
and let them decide.
Yeah, go for it. And then they come back and they're like, oh yeah, Shelly, she's crazy. Oh really? Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on a second, let me get the popcorn going.
Yeah.
You sit back. It's like watching the show. It's like, how's that working out?
Yeah.
It's not really working out. Well, you have the power to change if you want.
Yeah.
Do you want to change? Because if they don't want to do it,
I can't force it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm more involved in their recovery, more invested in their emotional welfare than they are in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't drink, you can get through that.
Mm.
And then you're going to have experience, which is more valuable than me just being a good boy and behaving.
Yeah. Like taking it back to your parents.
Right. Now I understand the other side of like the very structured, very like, we don't do this and we don't do that and this is why. But
That's what I've been.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
It just shut off everything.
What the fuck?
Wonder if it's recording.
No, it is still recording.
It is, yeah.
What the fuck was that?
That's never happened, yeah. Do you think a cord?
Oh, there it goes.
Hello?
You'll have to edit that part.
Yeah. She's really good.
Forget what
I know.
you're saying.
Come on, don't forget.
I don't know what is it still working?
It's working, fine.
Yeah, it's working.
That's
Put your
what
headphones
was
back
about-
on. Let's
it
go.
wasn't vibrating. It was like doing that noise.
Oh, but I didn't hear it on mine until this time.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I was saying is I understand the very structured stuff, and I don't have a problem with that. It's just not my experience. I have a lot of friends. We have friends that are, very structured and they thrive and they do good. And,
Yeah.
My experience is that for the first 8 years, I was like cheated on every girlfriend I had, slept around. It's crazier, like when your mom has to hear the fifth step, but it was, and there was a lot of damage created. And the truth was I didn't have a God in my life, and I held a secret from my first inventory, and so I helped others. I was super busy, You know, I was like an AA action figure, and I was on every young, I was on every young people committee, you know, like you know,
like
and,
those new AI things.
yeah,
You see everyone's making themselves into action figures.
yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna make you into a sponsor action figure with your picture.
You know, and so like, you know, I have that experience, you know, and so it was very painful.
Yeah.
You know, 8 years sober, gonna commit suicide.
Did you plan it?
No, I was driving my car down Aliso Viejo Road. So I went to a girlfriend's house. She broke up with me, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, I don't like acting like this. Like, I don't want go home every night. I want to kill myself. Like, I was like, and so I was driving my car down Aliso Viejo Boulevard, or whatever street that is, and I was like, when my car gets 100 miles an hour, I'm gonna barrel my car in oncoming traffic. And right at Pacific Park, I was gonna cut left, and I heard a voice in the backseat that was like, "Call that guy Jonathan from your Tuesday night meeting before you kill yourself."
Wow.
And this guy had been talking about untreated alcoholism, but I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, "What's that guy talking about?" And so I called him. It was midnight, and he was in bed with his wife in Tustin, and he said, "I'll meet you at Denny's." And he drove 30 miles south. I was like, "Okay, I'll meet you there." And he's like, "I'm gonna stay on the phone with you."
Wow.
Because he knew I wasn't gonna make it, you know.
Yeah.
And I went into that Denny's on Alicia in the freeway, and he read the bedevilments on 52, right? Having trouble with personal relationships, can't control your emotional nature, prey to misery and depression. I was just like sobbing. I was broken. And he said, "What you think is a broken relationship?" He said, "What you're suffering from is untreated alcoholism." And like he knew what was going on inside. You know, and he's like, I was 17 years sober and had a revolver and was going to kill myself when I met a guy named Luther. And Luther had met a guy named Clint Hodges, and Clint Hodges met Don Pritz. And I just like knew in that, like, that there were men in the program like suffering like me or had suffered, that there was hope, you know. And so I went through the steps, and I was suicidal from 8 years till I was 10 years sober. Like, I don't like legitimately would call him on the cliff like I'm gonna jump off.
Yeah. And in that moment, you did not have the craving of drinking and using, because that wasn't even a problem. It was the emotional side of things.
Yeah, the problem had
Can
been
you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the problem had been removed the first time I did steps. Like, I did a thorough first step. When I got sober, I came off of Skid Row, right? So it was like drugs and alcohol weren't gonna. I mean, that wasn't the solution.
Yeah.
But suicide was. You know what I mean? And what was the question?
Emotional.
Because people are always like, my problem is drugs and alcohol,
Not
but
the-
it's not. So when you remove those, you're left with yourself. So in that moment, even though you had that time, you're not like, I'm gonna go get high.
No.
That wasn't.
No.
So the question was, can you talk a little bit, like, what the difference is about taking the problem away and what really is the problem?
So I mean, now we're going from first year into longer term recovery. I don't think that drugs and alcohol are the problem.
Yeah.
The book clearly talks about it. It's the thinking that's the problem, right? And so my thinking, right, separates me from you all the time. It's like, oh my God, Breezy didn't text me back right away. Like, she doesn't like me. She really doesn't want me to be on the podcast. Like, oh my God, I should just fucking get the hell out of
You
here.
did say that on Wednesday night.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that happens, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we do that. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know if we, but I know I do. You know?
I do
22
too.
years sober.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and when I am in that thinking process, I'm in the bedevilments, right? Having trouble with personal relationships. Can't be friends with Breezy, right? If she's not texting me back because I build a case. And then I'm depressed because I have no friends and I'm miserable,
Yeah.
right? So I have a thinking problem,
Yeah.
right? That only a spiritual solution can work out. So what happens is we get sober, and then drugs and alcohol aren't the problem, and we're stuck with us trying to have friends in recovery, you know, best friends every freaking different week. We got a new best friend or next month.
All relationships.
All
Yeah.
relationships. Work, we get fired. We're like, well, quit, you know, or like I have a dream and I don't do it because I'm too scared, right? All that kind of stuff. And we're living in our own self-reliance, right? We're living in our intellectual mind that's in charge of everything around us. Am I playing God? No, I'm just living my life, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a God in my life. I don't have a relationship with God in my life.
And that is the entry to alcoholism.
Do I really believe in God?
Mhm.
Right? Like, I'll
That's
be honestly.
literally the whole point of the program. We have a lack of power, and our job is to find a power greater than ourselves.
And do I really believe?
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm agnostic temperament, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I have a deep, profound faith. Like, I have a deep, profound faith with God that comes and goes.
Yeah.
Really? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, like, I'm yeah, no, their shoe's gonna drop, right? And so what happens is eventually we stay sober long enough that we realize that like we on our own power can't do it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And when we finally have a surrender, like in recovery, they call it a spiritual bottom, or emotion. We have that. I had that at 8 years. Like, I had no other choice but to like look within what God meant for me. And God is love for me. I mean, my whole life, God spoke to me.
Mhm.
Like today, I woke up, I had gotten to prayer meditation, and I'm like in this business deal, and I had this feeling inside that was clear direction, and I was like, really? What the hell? Should I really do that? And then I questioned it.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm questioning it. Like, should I do that? Should I go? No, man. And then I'm like gonna talk to people. Think I should? Now I'm living on your dependence.
Yeah.
Tell me if I should or shouldn't, right? Because then if you tell me to and it's wrong, then I get to blame you.
Yeah.
Like, Breezy,
Yeah.
she know what she was talking about,
Yeah.
right? And now I'll go to prayer and I'll go to meditation. Did I really hear that? And it'll come again. So intuition's been there my whole life,
Mhm.
right? And so accessing that power, getting into that space
And listening.
and listening.
Yeah.
I heard it.
And then taking action.
And then action. What? Those are the three?
Action. Well, the footwork.
Faith without works is dead.
Oh, good old footwork,
Yeah.
right?
And then work without faith is dead.
Right. But if I don't share it, then it's just, I get stuck,
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. I love this.
Well, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
And learning a lot, not in a sense where it's like you're like a teacher, but more of like a different way. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Like a different way where when I came in, it was not really, it was more like scary
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to do this, you have to do
Which
that.
is so crazy because it literally says in our book, like, love and tolerance is our code.
Right.
But then he said there's no time. What did you say?
No. I said, I think that if I love always, then I don't tolerate.
Because it's kind of like to me, when he said that, it seems to me like a fuck you. Like, God bless you.
Yeah, I don't get
When
it.
you know what I mean?
It?
What do you mean?
You don't get?
No.
So like.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I bring love into the situation, like for example,
Unconditional love.
unconditional love. Like, trying to give an example, like my son's mom
Mhm.
going to college,
Mm.
and she not this college, but the college before, she rolled her eyes at me, and I'm being loving, and I'm being a loving person, and I'm thinking about her welfare, and like thinking about, she's afraid, too, like, just being loving. Well, she rolled her eyes at me, when I brought up my feelings and thoughts, and I thought, she doesn't respect me. My pride's affected. So I let it go and just being loving. And then she did it again, and I fucking reacted, right? Because I'm a human being. I was like, don't fucking roll your eyes at me. Like, you're a fucking toddler, call her names.
Yeah.
And then she's crying, my son's crying, and I know immediately internally, I'm like, oh, you didn't have to do that. Like, and so remain loving, right? And so then I have to make amends. Oh my God. I don't know how long you guys hold on to amends for, sometimes quicker and sometimes slower, but I made amends 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, I'm not going to do that. So we go to New York. She still behaved the same. Did it go away? No, you hear me? She still did the same thing she did, but I remained loving in the situation. Right? I wasn't tolerating. I just was bringing love to the table. I was taking care of me. Right? When the behavior was that way, I took care of myself. I stepped aside, said some prayer, took care of my mental health, came back loving. Tolerating, to me, this is my perception.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it is. Tolerating is like, oh my God, okay, I got to tolerate this person. right? Like it's a kind of a negative energy for me.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just
when you-
tolerating you, Breezy. Like
yeah,
you're
that
really
actually sounds terrible.
you're really annoying, but
yeah,
I'm
but I tolerate it.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
tolerate
worry.
it.
yeah, you know, it's kind of like an energy that I put
Interesting.
out into the world, right? I don't want to put a tolerating
I wonder,
energy out. In the
and
world.
I believe that Bill specifically wrote the book with every word like very intentionally.
Yeah.
It's like why the word tolerant? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah.
Well, and then he's not here, so that could mean whatever.
Whatever.
But
it
I
is.
like what he said.
So like,
So then I'm going to adopt it to my own.
Yeah.
so do you remember when
Do you know what I mean?
COVID was happening?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you remember that? It was like a blip in the radar.
Yeah, literally.
In
What?
the,
So, like,
in the Matrix.
Yeah. So like this last time I went through the steps, like God for me is love and God is intuition.
Mhm.
Like that simple. Like when my son came into the world, it was like I looked into God's eyes. He was perfect. You know what I mean? Little baby, loved, he was perfect, innocent, like love, pure love, unconditional. And so to me, like that's what love is. So COVID happens. Oh my God, I was terrified. Oh wait, no, back up. So I was having a problem with meditation. And I was like, couldn't meditate. I didn't know I needed the right pants. What kind of, do I didn't get the right pillow?
The right sponsor.
My sponsor, fucking journal. Oh, this is the wrong pen. This book, this YouTube video, right? Like the obsession of getting all the things in order to do meditation right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called a friend of mine, Eric. He lives in Phoenix, and I was like, he's like the Buddha. Like to me, like he's like, woo, he floats around.
Yeah.
So I was like, like talking about meditation, and he's like, you know what, Pat? He's like, wake up 5 minutes early. I don't have 5 minutes. He goes, I'm gonna give you the right to be late to anything. 5 minutes to be late. And I'm like, fucking right on. I want to be late. Thanks. He said, but I want you to breathe in that 5 minutes. And so I started. I go, well, how am I gonna breathe? Like I think too much. He goes, focus on breath, discontinue thought. Like notice the thought and then discontinue and then just keep focusing on breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but like I have ADD and like I can't. He goes, every human being thinks. I was like, okay, so focus on breath. So I started doing it. 5 minutes turned into 10 minutes, whatever. So this went on for like, I don't know, 8 months or something. And then COVID happened. Fucking terrified. You know what I mean? I was like, holy shit. I went and bought all the things, no more toilet paper. I couldn't get that. But like,
we have showers.
Yeah, but buy all the things, stock up for a year,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one day, what crossed my mind was discontinue thought, focus on breath. Like meditation had worked me.
Mm.
And I started getting into some meditation. And like, I realized that like all these opportunities to be of service, like in meditation, like we didn't have Zoom yet, right? There was old timers that needed help. And so I just got into service and like all of a sudden I wasn't afraid, spiritually aligned, service focused. And then 2 weeks later, probably got afraid again. And then the thought came, discontinue thought, focus on breath. And so I did. I got back into meditation. And in meditation, like I saw like I got sober off of Skid Row. Ended up at Charlie Street. Like God was in my life. Got a job. God was in my life. Like I didn't plan on getting in the career that I'm in. It just moved in that direction. And then I got like 6-figure job. I was killing it. I got fired from that job. I had a kid. God was there. Like, and I see how God was. And then like I started a company and then I got pushed out of that partnership. An attorney settled the case. The day my mom died, the attorney ripped me off for the settlement.
Oh my God.
But I could see that God was in it in my meditation through all the little things. And I realized in that moment that God was love, right? And that God had built me to that point where I was in meditation to go out into the world to be love, right? To be the light in the darkest time that like I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I got off the floor and I walked out of my apartment and was like, I just haven't turned back. Like, it's like, how can I be loving and how can I be light? Not just in the rooms or to my friends, but like at the airport, you know what I mean? To the lady next to me. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And she's like,
Yeah.
but like, and through that, like COVID didn't scare me anymore. Like I wasn't like, you know what I mean? It was like, just take care of yourself, be loving, be the light and be God centered, right? It's like, it's powerful.
Yeah, you can literally do anything.
You can do anything.
Sometimes I feel like I can walk on water.
You can.
Yeah.
I saw you earlier. I mean,
I
there's a puddle outside, you know what I'm saying?
That was a dad joke.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
No.
By doing all of this, did you kind of figure out your purpose here on Earth in life?
Doing all what? Like this meditation?
Sobriety, meditation, helping others.
I think that we're taught in the program like what our primary purpose is. Right?
Mhm.
I mean, the fifth tradition, right, talks about it. Like it gave me purpose. I feel like things are falling off now. Right, like it gave us purpose to help the next alcoholic or the one that's suffering. There's also a responsibility statement that says when anyone anywhere reaches out for help, we want the hand to be there, and for that I'm responsible, right? And so like there's a lot of responsibility in continuing to help others. There's a responsibility that I get to my regular meetings so that I can meet the new person, or the person in the corner that doesn't know, like that's scared, or the person with time in the rooms that's struggling, that can't be honest and say, hey, I'm hurting. Like I get the opportunity. Is that 8, 9 months on airplane mode? Like I have the opportunity. To like travel and speak and stuff. But if I'm not in like my regular meetings, doing the regular thing, right? Like putting my hand out to the new person, right? Setting up the chairs, breaking the meeting down, right?
And you do. I see it.
I do.
Every time I go to Gucci.
Yeah, I do. Like it's important,
Yeah.
It's important. Be a regular member in the same seat every week.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love that.
You're a powerful human.
Oh,
No.
You are.
Some
I
of my
appreciate it.
favorite humans are sponsored by you, and I like the way that they treat others is a direct correlation because of the way you treated them.
no, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I think that's very true.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
I
that.
obviously didn't know them before they met you, but I know that I'm like a direct correlation because of the way my sponsor treated me. So,
Right.
And like loved me unconditionally no matter what. So.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I already hate myself. Not today, but
Yeah.
I was like, what?
when I get sober, I mean, I already hate myself. Like,
Yeah.
My sponsor, the very first day, literally walked me in the shower and bathed me at Charlie Street. Like, literally, like, coached. I was on the floor, like, crying. And he held me on the floor and he, like, just pet my shoulder and he told me it was going to be all right. And I trusted him. Like, I felt just a little bit, and he walked me in the shower and the guy took a washcloth and a bar of soap and he scrubbed my back. And like that unconditional love, it goes forever,
Yeah.
Like come off a Skid Row, prostituting myself, like, no, like I don't deserve that kind of love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the people that I hurt, all that stuff, like I didn't deserve that kind of love. But like that's what we do for one another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe that's what we should do for one another.
Yeah. How did you meet that gentleman?
Which gentleman?
The one that was
Oh,
watching
this
your
one.
back.
I'm like in Skid Row.
Yeah. West Hollywood, sir. The money's better there.
Oh, yeah.
And so my sponsor, my mom called, I called my mom at the treatment center. She was the program director of Collect. And I'm like, Mom, I need help. And my mom was like, I can't help you anymore. Yeah. She's like, just stay where you are and I'll call someone to come pick you up.
Yeah.
And later I found out that she tried to call all the old timers and the guys with time and none of them answered. And the guy that answered had a year of sobriety.
Wow.
And he was like on fire for AA. Like he would go get guys and take them to Charlie Street,
Yeah.
that kind of guy. And he grabbed a guy with 90 days. And he had just gotten off the phone with this doctor that told him he had stage 4 cancer and he had 6 months to live. And my next call, literally right after he hung up, was from my mom saying he needed help with my son.
Holy fuck.
And he knew if he didn't treat his alcoholism, he was going to make it 6 months.
Yeah.
And so he goes, where's he at? And he got the address and he went and grabbed a new guy with 90 days. And they drove down to the motel and literally barged in the door. He's like, my name is Jack. I'm an alcoholic. I was like, whoa, dude, I was 98 pounds, just like a wreck,
Yeah.
And The other guy was on a walker. You know, I was like, oh fuck, these guys have what I want. Not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was desperate, and I
Yeah.
just was like, come with me, and I went with him.
Yeah.
Didn't even know him. Nothing.
So you asked that guy to be your sponsor?
No, he told me he was gonna be my sponsor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So that was your first sponsor.
it was my
How long
first
did
one.
he last
So
as your sponsor?
at a year
Not
sober.
with the cancer.
So I like the well, he just died 2 months ago, but
Oh, that was the one.
yeah.
Oh, he lived
Oh my
for
God,
a
he
long
had
time.
Stage 4 cancer
He
22
lived-
years ago.
He lived, yeah.
Wow.
So he,
Oh my
so
God.
I didn't tell him my deep dark secret. So I told him a little bit, and his reaction was like, and I was like, we're not going there, right? Like he had like a literally a physical reaction, and so I was like, yeah, we're not going there. And so then a year later, this guy came up to me, another guy sponsored, and was like, oh, Jack told me that you had experience with this.
Yeah.
And to me, my sponsor told another guy my secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
now look, I've done enough work on it to realize, like, if he would have came to me and said, hey, there's a guy that, would you be willing to talk to him about X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
They give me the ability and the right to say yes or no.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't do it that way.
Yeah.
And so from a year to 8, like I had a sponsor, because you don't want to get tied up with no sponsor having that conversation. I wasn't really sponsored.
You had a resentment.
Had resentment towards sponsorship.
Wait, but that was the same sponsor you had your entire time?
A year sober, I fired him
Oh.
because the sponsee came.
Oh,
Other,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know.
Who did you end up asking to sponsor?
I
you?
had all kinds of guys. I had Larry, Jack. Yeah, I had a bunch of guys.
Was Jack the guy that spoke at Gucci a few
I had him too.
months or something ago with the rifle?
No,
He was no.
The first my Jack never spoke at Gucci.
He's gay.
Never.
The guy. Okay, the guy that.
Never.
The guy, I know. Never gay.
Oh no, Jack wasn't.
No, I'm trying to figure out who it was. He was at Gucci, and he, same thing, at like 18, 19 years sober, he was a gay man, and he talked about
Yeah,
how
who
he,
was that?
I can't remember.
I can't remember it. Yeah.
There's so many good speakers at Gucci. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. Anyways,
remember.
well, I know that we are running out of time, but
Oh my gosh.
I know it goes by way too fast.
Way too fast.
People keep telling us that we need to be longer, and I think we're probably going to need to. Did it just go in and out again?
It did.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going
I
on?
don't know.
Waka waka. Yeah, it did. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, it went back.
Yeah. It's probably our headphones, not the mics.
Oh,
though.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good one. People are gonna be like, "What are they doing over there?"
Oh,
They're like,
oh,
oh.
look, what happened on Cheyenne's podcast? I forgot to plug in my fucking computer, and he was the last podcast of the day. And 45 minutes in, computer dies, and somehow God, it was still recording while the computer was
Yeah.
unreal.
She turned it on, and the whole thing was still recording.
It was unreal. I
That's
was
good.
like, that is the coolest thing ever.
That's great.
Yeah, God had my back. But anyways,
You were
what was I
gonna
gonna
ask me something.
Yeah. So for those that are in their first year, can you give one piece of advice that either you've been given or just something like that is on your heart for those people in their first year?
So, in the great words of my mom, Patt O would say, "If you don't drink, you won't get drunk, and if you don't get drunk, your life will get different."
Mm.
So that's from her.
Yeah.
Piece of advice.
Love that. I think Honey used your mom too.
Uh-huh.
Was
Sure
it
she
the
did.
exact same thing?
It was
Similar.
similar. No, it was something a little different, but it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah,
Patty O.
similar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your first year, like, I mean, work the steps, get a commitment. Like all those things are like really true.
Yeah.
Like, get
Yeah.
get a commit, get in the middle. Find someone that understands the 3 sides of our triangle:
Mm.
unity, service, and recovery. If I only apply unity, like the fun, right, the triangle is going to collapse.
Mhm.
If I do unity and service, the triangle is still going to collapse, right? But if I put all 3 and do unity, service, and recovery, they say it's the strongest geometrical shape. They say, I don't know, I've never
Yeah.
really balanced anything on a triangle to know, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be all
Makes
right.
sense.
You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of fun to be had in recovery.
Sure is.
Tons of fun. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, are you coming to Camp Soberfest?
I'm not.
Or-
Maybe next year.
Do you know who our woman speaker is going to be?
Who?
Sloan.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
She's good peeps.
Yeah, I listened to her speaker tape and I was like, I literally was crying. I don't think that's ever happened to me, just listening to a speaker tape before.
Stand by the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes, I actually,
She's a good friend of mine.
I read that, or I listened to her thing, and then I had to go do the Mott Watt meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally printed out "Stand by the Door" for everyone, and I read it, and I said, "That's what I hope Taste Recovery is." It's really powerful.
Oh.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
she's awesome. Who
Yeah.
else is speaking at Camp Soberfest?
Oh my God, some
It's a
dude
guy,
in
right?
Texas. Some
Yeah.
dude in Texas. I can't think of
What's
his
his name?
I can't remember. You put me on the spot, and it just went. He's one of Jenna's friends. He was at Lone Star. He was the one that put Lone Star on.
Oh, okay.
Why can't I think of his name? Oh my God.
Okay,
I've
great.
never met him. He doesn't have a speaker tape, and I'm just kind of praying that.
You're like winging it over here.
Yeah.
A winger.
That's sometimes better.
But Jenna,
Sometimes.
feels like he has like a really strong connection with God, and I'm like, cool.
Let's do it.
Whatever happens, happens, and
Let's do it. That's right.
as long as he helps some people. Pat was speaking at Camp Soberfest, and I saw more grown men in that meeting hysterically sobbing than I've ever seen in my almost 10 years of sobriety. It was wild.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah, it's where
Yeah.
we heal. We heal in the tears, and we heal in the laughter.
Yeah.
You know, God's good.
Yeah.
I'm grateful how God uses me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to like witness. I used to get overwhelmed, but it's pretty cool to witness
Hmm.
and to be able to hold space.
Yeah.
For people to be in that emotion.
Yeah.
Like that's a gift.
Yeah.
You know, like I really believe it's a gift. So
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, it is absolutely a
Mhm.
gift.
Yeah.
Because not everybody was made to be a speaker at a speaker meeting. I was not.
the
You
question.
did good.
The question though, like not the question. Well, my sponsor made me turn statements into questions in the book. You ever hear that?
No.
No.
So there's a statement in there, and it says, "Our sex powers were God given, not to be used selfishly or lightly." Do you know where that is? It's in the
No.
sex inventory.
sex
The
I was gonna
big
say
book.
page 69.
Yeah, right. Sex inventory, right? And so
Mhm.
turn that into a question and ask yourself, like, how am I using my sex powers, and what does sex
Okay.
powers mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily means the act of,
Yeah.
right? It's the charisma. It's our ability to pull people in, like the manipulation of.
If you're prostituting your
Ability to get up and be
No.
like charismatic.
Charismatic is
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Like your draw, like we
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
we
yeah.
draw people in, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
You guys become kind of famous in AA.
or even you. She's like, what?
Why?
Just the ability, like like the ability to how many women that you pull in,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
How many, friends that are how many people are attracted to you?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just our physical;
Hmm.
it's our
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah.
They're attracted to our spirit. You know,
Yeah.
some of us are good looking, right? And so we're gonna attract. It's gonna be different, but it gets mixed up between spiritual and the physical world,
Mhm.
and so we have to learn how to.
Ask the questions.
Right.
Yeah. When it happens in every part of it, it happens here at
Right.
the salon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every day I see it.
Yeah.
People coming in, and they come in because I do a good job, but I think they stay because of the connection
Correct.
that I have with them. You know,
Yeah.
and we've been through so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
things like that.
Just
Yeah.
from the outside, I mean, Camp Soberfest is blowing up because of who you are, like your spirit that you bring to the room.
Yeah,
You
and
shine.
you're so excited about it, and
Yes.
you have like a purpose and a drive for helping others. Yeah.
Don't edit this part out, right?
Cut.
Right? Like,
Cap cut.
Yeah.
it's beautiful, but like we used that when we were getting loaded, or when we were like in like
Yeah.
not spiritual place
Hmm.
to manipulate and to get what we want.
Yeah, and I really do believe it's very God given too. And I've had people like come to camp and see me and all of a sudden lay it on thick because they are like, wow, look at what you're doing. And I like, thank God I am who I am, because I could imagine someone who's not fit for that purpose would take advantage and be sleeping with all these dudes at
Correct.
camp, and you know what I mean, and taking power over that. And for me, I'm like, stay the fuck away. Like, I don't want anything to do with that.
And learning how and learning
No, thank you.
learning how to accept that love that comes. That's
Yeah.
hard, right?
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But that's spiritual. Like learning how to like, like embrace it,
Mhm,
right? Like
mhm.
embrace who we are
Yeah.
spiritually, like
Yeah.
spirit wise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Right.
asking the questions.
Right.
Yeah. I literally just had this conversation with my sponsee last night. She's new and she's spiraling and she's getting obsessed with a dude at this meeting and then a girl at this meeting and a guy at the, all the things. And I was like, well, you're not accepting that you're getting obsessed. And once you accept it, then you can start asking yourself questions. Why am I getting obsessed with this person? What is it that I'm trying to feel?
Right.
All of the things. And it was a really cool conversation. But I've never
Right.
heard it, like Jimmy
Like
said, like
that.
the way that you put things
Yeah.
just makes sense.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because I feel like I am
Open to receiving it.
open to receiving it, but I feel like I'm in the sense where I'm at a crossroads in sobriety where it's either I don't want to go the route of what I've been doing. You know what I mean? Like, don't do this, don't do, like, you know what I mean? I want to be love.
Yeah.
I want to come from a place of
Light.
love. I want people to come and be honest with me and not like be like, you know what I mean? I don't want to, some people don't want to come up to me because I feel like they think I'm like,
Gee.
I have, well, like, like a resting bitch face or something. I want to be friendly enough so then I could help people in a sense.
I want to be free.
Free, yeah.
I want to be
wanna
free. There's no freedom in restriction.
Yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
not. Like I want my spirit to freaking go. Like
Yep.
and learning how to live within a world of desire and wants and
Yeah, if it were up to me, I'd be jerking off every single second.
Oh my god.
Or I would be having sex with every single guy in the world.
The old vision for you, that's a vision for you paragraph. We were going to do a podcast. He's masturbating.
Well, on that note, we need to wrap this
We
up.
need to wrap it up.
Literally wrap it up.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Not much feeling in that.
Yeah, we love that. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Pat.
welcome.
It's
Thank you
such
so
an honor every
much.
time I speak to you.
Thank you.
You really are love and light. All right, I am Breezy.
And I'm Jimmy.
And we are
Sober Disclosure. This episode is brought to you by Light Salon, Orange County's premier destination for expert hair color. At Light Salon, we specialize in creating stunning custom color transformations that highlight your natural beauty. Owned and operated by passionate, sober stylists, we bring authenticity, creativity, and precision to every client experience. Light Salon.